He looked at me across the hospital cafeteria table, same piercing blue eyes as my dying husband, same crooked half smile, same calloused hands, and dropped the bomb that flipped my entire universe. I'm pretty sure I'm Daniel's brother. I straight up dropped my coffee. Lid popped. Dark roast everywhere. Tray clattered like a bad rom-com. Because 24 hours earlier, I was on my knees outside Vanderbilt University Hospital begging God for a miracle, and now he just FedExed one in muddy boots, a flannel shirt, mart, and a beat-up Ford with Tennessee plates. Drop your city and the craziest family showed up when you needed them most story in the comments. I'm reading every single one, no cap. My name is Delilah Carter, 32, ER nurse, Nashville born and raised, coffee addict, mama to the dopest miracle toddler on the planet, and for the last 8 months I've basically lived inside Vanderbilt University Hospital while the love of my life fought death itself. Daniel Carter, my husband, my rock, the 6'2" carpenter who hand-built our porch swing, still kisses me like it's prom night every morning, and can make a dining table out of reclaimed barn wood that'll make you cry, was diagnosed with severe aplastic anemia. In plain English, his bone marrow quit the job. His own immune system turned gangster and started destroying the factory that makes blood cells. Docs gave us exactly one option, a stem cell transplant. Catch was, you need a close family match, preferably a sibling. Daniel grew up in foster care, bounced from house to house, no parents, no siblings, no birthday cards, no nothing. We signed up for every registry on God's green earth, but the odds of a random stranger matching in time? Slim to start picking out black dresses. So picture this. It's a perfect Tennessee spring day, dogwoods blooming like the world ain't falling apart, and I'm sitting on a wooden bench outside the hospital entrance trying not to ugly cry in public. I'm a nurse. I've held more hands through last breaths than most people have hot dinners. But nothing, and I mean nothing, prepares you for watching the strongest man you've ever known fade away one blood transfusion at a time. Daniel used to work 12-hour days in his shop, come home dusty and grinning, cook me shrimp and grits, then carry me to bed like we were still newlyweds. Now he couldn't even hold a coffee cup without his hands shaking. I was drowning. Then I overhear 2 transport techs on break sipping iced coffee like it's just another Tuesday. That Carter dude in ICU, swear to God he's got a doppelganger out in Pine Hollow, same face, same everything. Creepy. My heart stopped, restarted, and did a full cartwheel. Pine Hollow is a tiny mountain town 2 hours east. Population, maybe 2,000 if you count the cows and the moonshine stills. I didn't even finish my sweet tea. I kissed Daniel's forehead while he was sleeping off another transfusion, told the charge nurse I'd be back, jumped in my Jeep, and floored it like the hounds of hell were on my tail. I rolled into Pine Hollow with zero plan, zero chill, and a single photo of Daniel on my phone that I'd been using as a lock screen for 8 years. Pulled up to the only gas station / convenience store / bait shop in town, walked straight to the register, and shoved my phone at the cashier like a crazy person. Ma'am, I know this sounds insane, but do you know anybody who looks like this? Old boy didn't even blink. Took one look, scratched his beard, and said, "That's Luke Henderson, lives out on County Road 6. Y'all could be twins." I swear my soul left my body, did a lap around the mountains, and came screaming back in. Hands shaking so bad I could barely hold the wheel, I followed his scribbled directions down a winding dirt road until I saw it. A weathered mailbox with faded white letters that read Henderson. Old farmhouse, rusted porch swing creaking in the wind, a blue tick hound barking like it was about to collect my soul tax. I walked up those creaky steps ready to beg, bribe, or straight up ugly cry on a stranger's doorstep. Door swings open, and I almost collapsed right there. Luke Henderson was Daniel if Daniel had grown up wrestling bears and chopping firewood instead of building farmhouse tables. Same height, same broad shoulders, same dark blonde hair falling over the same piercing blue eyes that look like they've seen some shit and still chose kindness anyway. I shoved my phone at him with Daniel's latest hospital photo. Pale, hooked to tubes, but still smiling that crooked half smile that made me fall in love with him 10 years ago. This is my husband, Daniel Carter. He's dying. He needs a bone marrow transplant. People say y'all look alike. Luke stared at the screen for a solid 10 Mississippis, rubbed the back of his neck like he was trying to wake up from a dream, and finally muttered, "Well, I'll be damned." Then he looked me dead in the eyes and said the words that still give me chills. "Our mama wasn't worth much. Had a bunch of us, different daddies. When I was 6, she had one more boy and walked out of the hospital without him. Never knew his name till right now." I started bawling in this man's doorway like a damn lunatic. Full-on ugly cry, snot and everything. Luke didn't even flinch. Just stepped aside, voice soft as Tennessee whiskey, and said, "Come on in, darling. Let's go save my brother." Luke didn't ask for a DNA test. Didn't ask for proof. Didn't need a PowerPoint. He grabbed his keys, told his dog, "Guard the fort, Blue," threw a duffel in his truck, and followed me 2 hours back to Nashville like it was the most normal Tuesday of his life. We pulled up to Vanderbilt at golden hour, sun setting over the parking garage like God was putting on a whole light show just for us. I walked Luke through those sterile halls straight to Daniel's ICU room. Daniel was awake, propped up on pillows, looking fragile but still trying to flirt with the nurses. He saw me first, smiled that weak little smile. Then his eyes shifted to Luke, and every monitor in the room started beeping like crazy. "Y'all, there's no word in the English language for what happened next." Daniel's mouth fell open. Tears, instant tears. Luke stepped forward, voice cracking like a teenage boy. "Hey, little brother, heard you need some bone marrow. Figured I'd bring you the good stuff." Daniel reached out a trembling hand and whispered, You look just like me." Luke grabbed it like he'd been waiting 35 years to do exactly that and said, "Yeah, man, turns out mama was trash, but we ain't. We Carters now." Tests came back in less than 48 hours because the docs knew we were on borrowed time. 10-10 match? Perfect. Like God sat down with the lab techs and said, "Make it exact." Luke signed every consent form without reading half of them, cracked jokes with the nurses about how he hoped Daniel inherited his good looks, and not just his stubborn streak, and never once left the hospital. Slept in the recliner that's meant for people half his size, brought Daniel homemade deer jerky, taught him how to whittle little wooden cars between IVs. They talked for hours about group homes, about never feeling wanted, about finally having somebody who shared the same blood, same laugh lines, same hate for black olives. Daniel cried the first night Luke called him little brother. I cried in the hallway because my husband finally had family, real family, and it showed up wearing Carhartt and smelling like pine trees. Transplant day came fast. Luke went in first, healthy as an ox, flirting with the anesthesiologist like it was a bar on Broadway. 8 hours later, they wheeled Daniel back to recovery, weak, bald from the chemo, but alive with brand new cells from a brother he didn't know existed a week ago. Recovery was brutal. Fever, infections, days he couldn't even lift his head, but Luke never left. Brought his banjo one night and played wagon wheel until Daniel laughed so hard the monitors went nuts, and the night nurse threatened to sedate them both. 3 months later, Daniel walked out of that hospital on his own 2 legs, 30 pounds lighter, grinning like the old him, Luke right beside him with an arm slung over his shoulder like they'd been doing it since kindergarten. Fast forward 2 years. Daniel's back in the shop full-time, stronger than ever, building farmhouse tables that sell for 5 figures on Etsy. Luke sold his mountain property and bought 10 acres 5 minutes down the road from us, close enough to smell the barbecue, far enough we don't kill each other over fantasy football. Our surprise miracle baby, Mateo, who decided to show up 6 months after the transplant like the ultimate plot twist, calls Luke Uncle Cowboy and thinks tractors are the coolest thing since dinosaurs. We've got family cookouts every Sunday. Luke burns the ribs, Daniel overcooks the cornbread, Mateo smears ketchup everywhere, and I just sit on the porch swing Daniel built 10 years ago, watching the fireflies and thinking, damn, we made it. Daniel and Luke even started a side hustle together, Carter and Henderson Custom Furniture. Their logo, 2 interlocking C's, and the tagline, "Blood builds better." First piece they made together was a massive dining table for the hospital that saved Daniel's life. Vanderbilt put it in the new family waiting room with a plaque that reads, "For every family still waiting on their miracle." And yeah, we finally got that dog. Big ol' mutt named Miracle who thinks Luke's boots are chew toys and sleeps on Daniel's side of the bed when he thinks we're not looking. Yo, this ain't the end of Delilah's story. This is the part where the credits roll and the real, messy, loud, beautiful life starts. From sitting on a hospital bench praying for a stranger to watching my husband laugh so hard he cries with the brother he never knew he had, life handed us the wildest, most Tennessee-sized plot twist when we were one heartbeat from the final page. So tell me, what's the moment a stranger became your family? Hospital hallway, gas station, Facebook DNA group, wherever it went down, drop the whole story below. I'm reading every comment, replying to the real ones, because somebody out there is sitting on a bench right now thinking hope is dead, and they need to know miracles still wear flannel, drive beat-up trucks, and show up exactly when you're too tired to keep praying. Keep fighting, keep believing, keep showing up. Because sometimes family finds you wearing muddy boots and answers to a name you never knew you had. Peace out, stay holding on tight, and never forget, blood don't always mean born to the same mama. It means who bleeds for you when it counts. Catch y'all on the flip.